It's Kobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this video breakdown, I want to take a look at a defense out of the nickel 3-3 double mug that's going to allow you to get pressure from two different defenders from the exact same side of the field. The name of the play that we use for this video breakdown is the nickel 3-3 double mug and nickel overload 3. Here's a look at the playbooks you can find this play out of. Before I show the blitz setup out of the nickel 3-3 double mug nickel overload 3, let's take a look at the pass rush and the pass coverage assignments. Now, this particular defense is an aggressive five-man pressure scheme, and what you're going to see here as you look at it, you're going to have five defenders that are going to be rushing the quarterback. You've got the nickel back, you've got this edge rusher, along with these three linemen. You got these two guys right here, which are going to both be the defensive tackles. Now, they're going to put some pressure up the gut. And then you also got one other guy, which is going to be this linebacker who's in this A-gap mugged up there as you look at it near the line of scrimmage, and he'll shoot between the center and the left guard. Now, as far as the pass coverages are concerned, you have a disciplined coverage 3 shell as you look at it. So you're going to have these three defenders right here that are going to be playing 3 deep coverage as you look at your screen. Now, that puts 3 other defenders that are going to be playing coverage underneath. Now, in this case, you've got this free safety along with this defensive end right here. He's going to be dropping back in the seam foul as well. And then you also got this linebacker here that's playing a 3 receiver hook. So those are the 6 defenders that are going to be dropping back as far as in pass coverage. The default design of this particular defense forces the quarterback into split-second decisions by combining an aggressive blitz with a reliable safety net over the top. Now, with that said, if you were to run this play as is, generally what you're probably going to end up getting is pressure coming from this nickel back off the left side of the offensive line. Now, what I want to show you is how you can not only get him to get that pressure on the quarterback, but you can also get this guy in as well. So you're going to get 2 guys coming off the left side of the offensive line getting pressure on the quarterback. All right, now I want to take a look at the blitz setup out of the nickel 3-3 double mug nickel overload 3. That's going to allow you to get pressure from 2 different defenders off the left side of the offensive line. Those 2 defenders are going to be these 2 guys right here, this nickel back and this edge rusher coming off the left side. Now, to do that, what you want to do first is you're going to want to go ahead and show blitz with the linebackers. Let's take a look at this right here. So you're going to notice what I'm going to do is here is I'm going to press down the RB button as you look at it. And then that's going to make sure that these 2 linebackers are lined up into these A gaps up near the line of scrimmage. And against certain formations on the offensive side of things, they may not be there. So that's the reason that I do it, to make sure they get into those gaps. By the way, I also got the auto flip turned off on defense. I did want to point that out to you, since I haven't mentioned that. So make sure you guys remember that. Now, as far as the rest of the setup is concerned, let's take a look at it here. And what we want to do next is we're actually going to put a couple defenders into QB contain. You're going to see that right there as you look at your screen. So now we got these 2 defenders here. We got this nickel back, and we also got this defensive tackle here on the right. They're both in QB contain. Now, when you're up against a quarterback such as Jackson here, you obviously don't want him to try to roll out. So this is going to try to prevent him from rolling out. And to be quite honest with you, with this particular setup I'm showing, it makes this defense even work a little bit better. So that's another reason I do the QB contain. Let's go ahead and continue on with the setup here. And then as you look at it, you're going to notice that I take control of this linebacker right here. Now, remember, he's supposed to be playing that 3 receiver hook, but what I'm going to do with him here is I'm actually going to go ahead and blitz him. So now you can see that I went ahead and blitzed him. And what I want to do with him is I actually want to engage the center. And then once he engages the center, I'm going to drop him back just like he's supposed to be. Now, you got to get him back quick because, again, any kind of passes over the short middle of the field are going to be wide open. You can see right now, clearly, you only got 1 defender and you're already blitzing him. So it's going to kind of, your opponent was to say run a drag route of the slant, he may be able to throw a quick bullet pass over there and complete it. So I did want to point that out to you with that. So this might be a defense that you might want to run in maybe 3rd and long type situations. But at any rate, let's continue on with the setup here. So once this ball is snapped, what you're going to see here is we're going to get that edge pressure from both those defenders I talked about earlier. So right there, you can see that we get that pressure coming off the left side of the offensive line. All right, what I want to do now is I want to go into X and O's of the play and take a look at this one a little bit more in detail. From the All-22 and instant replay, we can get a better idea exactly how the X and O's of this particular play called nickel 3-3 double mug, nickel overload 3, gets that pressure off the left side of the offensive line from 2 separate defenders. Now, in this case, what we're looking for here to get that pressure, we're looking to get pressure coming from this guy right here, which is going to be Landry. We need him to come off the edge and apply that pressure. And then we're also going to have another defender as well. As you look at your screen right here, it's going to be this one right here, which is going to be Jones. And we're looking for him as well to get that pressure coming from the left side of the offensive line. Now, what we want to do is we want to make sure that Jackson cannot roll out and get away from the pressure that's coming off. If anything, at least if he's going to try to roll out, he's going to try to roll out here towards the right, because he's going to end up seeing, again, these guys coming off the edge. He may end up trying to go ahead and roll out here towards the right side of the screen here to try to avoid his blitz. But by putting another defender in QB contain, which is what we're going to show here, we're going to have this defender also in QB contain out here on the right. It should help prevent it. Don't forget this guy right here, the one I talked about earlier, as far as this guy, he's also in QB contain. So I do want to point that out. Now, we also need to make sure that the left tackle, in this case, is going to be this gentleman right here, which is going to be Stanley. We need to make sure he is occupied. Now, to do that, we need to get this guy right here to occupy him. Now, for us to do that, we need to take control of this linebacker right here. Remember, he's supposed to be dropping back in that 3 receiver hook. We're going to put him head up over the center, and then we're going to fake blitz him where he comes in like this. And then eventually we're going to fight off and drop back into that 3 receiver hook, or actually we're just going to stay in control over and using him and try to take away any type of pass routes that might be coming over the middle. For example, someone like that might be coming over the middle. And then what we need to do is we need to drop this guy back and try to take that away. Now, let's go ahead and continue through this. Now, you talked about what I talked about earlier is making sure that those linebackers are set up into the double mug. That's by pressing the RB button once you bring up the linebacker assignments, and that's going to put those guys in that position for sure. The other thing I talked about is make sure you have them in QB contain as far as those 2 outside defenders. Again, these 2 right here that I talked about earlier, having these guys in QB contain as far as getting that pressure on the quarterback. So that's the main thing there. And then plus having this other guy, he's going to go ahead and rush and then dropping him back into pass coverage. All right, let's go ahead and go through this and take a look at it. And I'll show you how this works as far as with this blitz setup here in the X and O's of the play. Right there, you can see right here, I'm going to zoom in. You can see that these 2 guys are in fact coming off the edge here, applying that pressure to the quarterback. And you can also see the other thing that I'm doing here is we rewind this just a little bit. What I'm looking to do here is, again, I'm looking to occupy this center. Not only do I occupy the center, but also the right guard looks to slide in as well to try to block me. And that's going to help prevent this guy right here, this left tackle, from, looking to block one of these other guys coming off the edge, because now he's got to end up blocking that, that defensive tackle right there. So this guy's got to block that defensive tackle. And again, this is going to allow us to get this pressure coming off the edge as far as getting to the quarterback. And as far as with Jackson, what we're trying to do is, as I talked about earlier, is we're trying to prevent him from, rolling out. And you can clearly see over here on the right side that this guy right here is in QB contain, and he's working his way to the outside. All right, let's continue on with this as you go through it. And I'm a little bit late getting off that line of scrimmage, but you can see I'm trying to drop back. But this guy right here, if my opponent was to hit this guy for a quick bullet pass, let's go ahead and rewind it just a little bit right there. You can see that he could probably have hit him. If that guy had been running the slant, honestly, this guy would have been wide open for a quick bullet pass into this area here. So that's one of the downsides of this, and I did want to point that out to you. Because you are manually rushing that linebacker, it is going to leave some short middle of the field wide open, as you can see right there. And that's why I suggested earlier that you may want to run this in a 3rd and long situation. But as far as the pass coverages are concerned right there, other than that, it's pretty good at this point. Now, something else I want to point out here, you can always mix this in with some other type of defense, and you don't even have to fake blitzes, guys. Say you run it from another defense out of this formation where you got a cover 3 look or even a cover 4, whatever you want to, set up. You can set up the defense to make it look the same, even though you're not even blitzing these guys off the edge. So maybe you call some other defense out of here where these guys aren't coming off the edge here. For example, maybe you decide to come out and say the cover 3 match, and you set this up. So you come out in the cover 3 match defense, and these guys don't even rush the quarterback, but you set it up to make it look the same. So my point is, try to mix this in with some of the other cover 3 defenses, whether it be, cover 3 match, cover 3 sky, whatever, just try to make it look the same. So at any rate, guys, this is a defense that you can use here in Madden 26. It's going to bring that double edge pressure off the left side of the offensive line. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment for more Madden guides, strategy, and tips content. See you in the next video.